All right, everybody. Well, hey, we are back from a short little break there. We are excited to have a rock star in commercial due diligence join us right now. Honored, to say it the least, to have Suzanne Kessler from Pro Title USA joining us. And you all may know that I'm good friends with Alex Godofsky, who's the head honcho over there. But he's like, man, I got to have Suzanne take care of this because she is the rock star for everything at Pro Title USA. And you can look at her; she's trying to be modest right now, but she's smiling. She is laughing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
Okay.
Suzanne, welcome to Note Camp Commercial. Why don't we start off before you pull up your presentation? Just share a little about your kind of your past and kind of what brings you here today.
Okay. So I work with Pro Title USA. I am the oversight manager here, and I kind of do a little bit of everything. So I have been dealing with clients and like the dashboards and due diligence for a while. I'm a client representative myself here, so I have to present the dashboard to all of our clients and go through and really look at the assets. So I do have an example of that for at the end of the presentation. So we'll see that so you guys can see everything that I do and how we tell what the assets are like. But I've been at Pro Title for I think like a few years now. And before that I was in school. So that's
Cool.
just
Cool. Where'd you go to school?
Temple University.
Temple. There you go. All right, there. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you want to share your screen and put up your PowerPoint and then dive into that. Do you want people to ask questions as we go through, or do you want to wait till the very end? What would you prefer?
We could wait till the end just because I don't know if I can fit everything in, and I'd rather try to get as much information out, because if I can't answer the questions here, you guys can always email us at info@protitlusa.com.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. So yeah, if you want to hit the, you see a button at the bottom there. It says hit share screen.
Yep.
Click on that.
Okay.
You pull up your different things you've opened. There you go. Just click on your PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay. Everything look good?
oh, we saw it there. Oh, there we go. Perfect now. Good stuff. Now I'm going to jump off and mute myself, and that way people rock and roll. But if I do see something, I may jump in and comment from time to time. Is that all right?
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, great.
Okay, so today we're going to go over the due diligence for commercial assets. As I said before, I'm Suzanne Kessler. I work at Pro Title USA. If you do want to write down our website, it's right on the screen for you. Our phone number. What's not on here is our email address. It is just info@protitlusa.com. If you have any questions about this presentation or anything, you can just shoot us an email and we'll help you out. So we're going to get into this is the agenda for today. So we're going to go over a few things. The first thing we're going to go over is the corporate overview of Pro Title USA. So I'm going to explain who we are and what we do. After that, we're going to go over the commercial capital market. So I'm going to tell you who's the top sellers and the top buyers. And then we're going to go through the differences between residential and commercial due diligence. They're similar in some ways, but there's some other things you have to look out for when you are dealing with commercial assets. And then we're going to go through the investment market segment, and I'm going to show you where you can invest at and the options out there. After that, we're going to go through the data and the delivery that we do. So this is going to be the due diligence process. And then after that, we're going to go through some examples. I'm going to show you a regular report of a commercial asset, and then one that's a little lengthy that shows you the things that you need to look out for. And then if we get to it, I'm going to show you our all-in-one dashboard and then the Q&A session. Okay. So here's our corporate overview. So if you look to the right, you can see the map of the United States, and we have offices a little across the US. We are an Inc. 5000 company for the last 5 years. So the main products that you're going to hear are our Oni Reports. These are for commercial and residential assets. We do also have a tax and title dashboard. What our dashboard is it's like a little summary of all the due diligence on the assets. So if you're getting a pool of more than maybe 20 loans, the dashboard would help you because it's just a summary of everything. It will tell you where the asset fails on everything. And I will show you the example at the end so that you guys can see and see how helpful it will be. So, so moving on from the Oni Reports, we do have some add-ons to our products. So with commercial, we do recommend the township search. what the township search is it's a municipal lien search, and it goes into code enforcement liens and permit violations. This is the stuff that will not come up on a regular Oni report, because when you hear title search, it is a research for the county records. So the township search is going to pull the things that you won't see on there, and sometimes it's hard to get, but we have seen some liens go over 100,000, and especially with commercial assets, it's really important. So I would take the time to use that product. A couple more we have are the bankruptcy scrubs, the mobile home verification, and we also have water sewer payoff and redemption information. So these are also good products for the commercial assets. We do also have our second position liens searches and contract for deed due diligence products. You can send us an email if you have questions on them, since usually they're more for the residential side. So the next thing we're going to go over is the portfolio level title exam. So this is the title exam and the underwriting. This is the risk analysis for our products. So this is what we do recommend to add on. This will go over the mortgage enforceability. It will go through the liens, and it will let you know and alert you for any liens that are capable of foreclosing. And so we go through the assignment breaks. So if there's a break in assignment, that's going to be an issue. We go through vesting issues. We alert you, and we have 250 defects that we go through. So if there is something found, because it's a page-by-page review, we will alert it for you. So the next thing that we'll go over for the title exam is a legal description review. This is really important on commercial property, since there's a lot of out sales and other things that can happen. And then we do go over the tax status. So a little recap is we do have a lot of US-based residential and commercial vetted contractors that work for us. So we have people across the whole United States. We have in-county searchers who go into the county and pull the records themselves. We have online searchers. It's whatever you need, we can provide for you guys. And we do also have a curative department, which would be that expert title underwriters. So we have a team that if you have a lien and you want to get maybe negotiate it down, get it paid off, we have a department that can help you guys with that. And we are a preferred vendor of buyers of asset sales, just to name a few. That would be Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, some of the RPL, NPL sales. And we also work directly with DebtX. They're a big commercial advisor. We have Fannie, Freddie, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo. So a lot of these clients do use our AllinOne Dashboard because their pools are large and they do not want to do the one-by-one asset, page-by-page review themselves. So they really do use the AllinOne Dashboard, and we do recommend that highly for if you're doing larger pools. So I'll go over to the next slide. Okay, so now we're going to go over commercial capital market overview, and this is the commercial asset sales. So as you can see on the left, it's going to be your top commercial sellers, and they're all names that we've heard of. It's going to be BB&T, Wells Fargo, Citibank. And so what happens are these commercial sellers, they hire sale advisors, and they're the names in the middle. So that's DebtX, Garnet, MIAC, and 10X. So the advisors are in charge of the bidding process for when they're selling the pools. They deal with the pricing, they select the winners, and sometimes they do run a due diligence on the pool. On the right, you'll see the top buyers, MetLife, Morgan Stanley, and Bayview Commercial, just to name a few. These top buyers have trade desk available so that you can see the assets that are for sale. And some of them, like I noted for DebtX, that they require a subscription. So we do work with all these clients. So there's about 40 to 50 clients that we work with for the commercial products. So for a usual pool, we see about 10 to 200 assets per pool. And one good thing about the commercial capital markets is it doesn't have the peaks and valleys as the residential capital markets. So the commercial market is more consistent. Okay, and I'll take just a second. So if you guys, I think there's a thing where you can write your questions. So I'll give you a second to write that. And then I'll go into the next slide.
Yep. And yeah, Daphne, yes, Daphne, as well as slide presentations of the presenters be available separately from the recordings. Yes, Daphne, we'll get those available to you as well. So once they're sent over. So yeah, good stuff. That was a great slide back there, Suzanne, because we had questions about people who can find deals and find buyers and find sellers. So that's a great, I mean, I literally took a screenshot real fast for all of our students. If they weren't paying attention, that was a great shot there for you guys to jot down some names or to take a screenshot so you know where to start looking for the buyers and sellers in the commercial space.
Okay, so now here's a very important slide. I'm sure some of you guys are probably have done the residential due diligence before. It's kind of like the same, but we're going to go over the few major differences. So, okay, so the first one we're going to go through is that the commercial bidding process, the due diligence starts pre-bid. So they do this to get a competitive bid. So you guys have time to get discounts for the costly liens on the property. And this is where it comes in for that township search I keep on talking about. They are they take a little bit more longer time than the regular O&A because you are contacting different entities, which could be the township, the building department, the code department, and you're getting all the information from them, which those ones are the little sneaky liens that you want to make sure you find. But with that being said, with the extra extended time, you guys have time to order those muni searches and get that information in. If not, say you don't have that much time, you guys can always use a side letter to extend the timeline for your due diligence. So this reserves the right for you to come back post the due diligence closing and say you found a lien on the code and demo. You'll be able to dispute that for a discount. Okay, so moving on, we have that for commercial notes, they typically have assignments of rents and leases to be reviewed as well as UCC chains. These can be filed at the county or the state. So it's a Secretary of State search. They could be filed in either or, so both of them have to be checked. So, and here's what you need to look out for. The chain, you want the chain to be clear. And you have to remember that UCC filing statements expire in 5 years. So you have to get it continue or it will lapse. If the UCC lapse, you can lose all your collateral. So whether the collateral be cars, trucks, farms, cattle, other buildings, you could lose that if you do not extend that. If there's a broken chain, you can lose your right to collect. So these are things that you want to look out for when you do your due diligence. And then moving on to the legal description issues, that is where a big issue can come in as well. And this will be picked up if you guys order the title exam, which is that page-by-page review. So with commercial properties, there's a lot of sell-offs because you guys are buying big bulk properties, you're building, say you bought a property, you're building houses. So for example, you can have a builder's loan and they used it to build, let's say 20 houses. And some of them were partially released and they were sold off for completion. So if you're trying to still sell the rest, you guys just want to make sure that the legal description matches up to your collateral, so that you're not losing anything, you're not having any issues down the line.
Got a question for you here, Suzanne. It kind of goes back to this. Side letter is just basically, it's not anything really formal. It's basically like, hey, here's a letter of stuff that we found that causes the values to fade or reasons for us to fade or reduce our bid, right?
Yeah. Sometimes I think the seller may require a certain letter, but you can ask them. If not, just make sure you have it sent to them. They are aware of what it is.
Yeah, it's not anything. It's not anything complicated to overthink. It's like I've used this in different commercial deals. It's just basically a letter of explanation with proof on stuff like that. It's just to get the formal name kind of with the commercial side when you're buying the stuff, and then UCC. But what does UCC mean for Joe out there who doesn't know what UCC stands for?
It's Uniform Commercial Code.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a financial statement. I'll show you examples of them. They can be kind of used like as a mortgage or something similar to that. So I will definitely show you an example. I actually have an example of someone who is renting out their building for a Dunkin' Donuts. So we'll look at that and you can see.
It's used a lot. So, like if you've been on, heard Aaron Young talk about asset protections, a lot of times for asset protection, they'll put a UCC one on all your assets. So it's like a first lien position, basically. Mm-hmm. And like Suzanne said, it's just not filed at the county. A lot of times it's filed at the state Secretary of State's office. So that's why it's a little different, more different form than like it's like putting a lien on something, but it's trying to encompass everything that's in the company, in the commercial asset. It may include not just the actual building, but like she said, it could incorporate all the fixtures, the trucks, all the mechanics and stuff like that. It's like an overwhelming lien that gets filed for the most part. Good stuff. I'll shut up, Suzanne.
It's fine. Your input is great. Okay, so let me just remember where we left off at. Sorry for a second. Okay, so yeah, if the owner of the company is in a Delaware, if it's a Delaware corporation, the UCC could be filed in Delaware. So it's going to be that Secretary of State filing in the state of Delaware. So when you are buying commercial assets, we do recommend looking for that corporate certificate of good standing for the seller. We highly recommend this. We want to verify that the seller is active and that we don't have any issues down the line. So you can run into maybe you're doing paperwork or an assignment and you can't find the seller because they're not, sorry, that just popped up. You cannot find the seller to sign the documents. That's going to cause an issue. It's going to cause a delay. And if you're foreclosing, anything like that can cause a delay. And in the end, it can cost money. So one other difference between the residential and the commercial due diligence I want to point out, well, it's just commercial and residential in general. The foreclosure for the commercial is a lot quicker than a residential because it's a non-owner occupied space. So if you guys are going to do the foreclosures, that is the commercial assets are good for those. Okay. Okay, so next we're going to go into the commercial investment market segments. So right here I have listed a few places that you can invest in. I'm going to go through each one, and I'm going to also, there's like little things that you should definitely look out for when you're doing the due diligence for certain projects. So the main one, the commercial RPL, NPL performing markets. So the due diligence for this is going to be very similar to the residential due diligence. Usually current owner search is good for that, and then we do recommend the township search because it has a higher chance of the code enforcement liens and the permit violations. And of course with commercial assets, those values of the liens can be a lot greater than you would see on a regular residential property. Another place that you can invest in is church acquisitions and sales. The two major things you want to look out for when you're doing your due diligence on these, the first one is the trustee verification. So you want to make sure that you can find a trustee and that the trustee is still alive. If you cannot find a trustee, it will be very hard to get your documents completed and to get everything going. You want to make sure that the chain is not broken, so that there's no issues. And for tax exempt status, you want to double check that each jurisdiction of the property, you have the tax exempt status for that. So when you have property taxes, it's not just the county, it could be the city, it could be a school, it could be a village. You want to make sure that you have that tax exempt status across all the jurisdictions. And for these church acquisitions and sales, usually you can, it's people buying the building or the mortgage. The next thing I'm going to go over are the hotels, motels, hospitals, and malls. The major thing that you want to check for here are the mechanics lien. So the mechanics lien can have a high value because it's the constructions or renovations. But you have to remember that these mechanics liens can take superiority over the mortgage. So if you're buying notes and you see that, you want to be careful. We also have people who invest in mobile home parks. And what you want to check out for in those is that the conversion affidavit was completed. So what this does is you want to confirm that there is a real asset and that the property or the building is just not considered that vehicle still with the DMV. Because if it is, then you just have land. And then moving on, we have the commercial lease portfolios, and this is where you want to check the filed leasehold agreements. So what this investing is you own the building and then you have the company sign UCCs. So this is going to be as an example of that Dunkin' Donuts UCC I'm going to show you. So the person who is investing owns the building and then they have a UCC with the company who opened up the Dunkin' Donuts. And the leasehold, they're sold as assignments of rent, and you just want to make sure that the chain is clean for those ones. For the oil, gas, and land leases, it's the same thing. You guys want to check out for the same issues that the lease portfolios could have. And then we do see a lot, we're starting to see a lot more of the green energy, the solar farms, the windmills, the power charging stations. For these ones, you want to check the right-of-ways, the easements. You want to make sure that you can use the land. You have to check those easements. And for the same thing for the commercial.
Eric, we lost you there. Your microphone went out for some weird reason. Suzanne?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. You're back. For some reason your mic went out there for a second.
Oh, okay. Everything good?
Yeah, everything looks good. You can reshare your screen.
Okay. There we go. Let me see. Okay. So
There we go.
for the last thing that I'm going to go over is the Puerto Rico commercial property acquisitions. And these ones are just usually paid cash. They're just like the regular land acquisitions. People just want to build on them. The thing with the due diligence on these are the reports are just the template and an explanation, like an overview. There's no copies in Puerto Rico that are held like at the county level that you usually see. So it's a little bit of different report. But as a general, for all the commercial properties you guys want to invest in, I do recommend you want to check for tax sale, because we do see a lot for it's partially developed condos. We see a good amount of tax sales. And then you do have land loss to code enforcement liens for incomplete construction. So if you guys are looking to invest in maybe say that land where someone didn't fully complete the building, I would recommend that township search there, because okay, they may have stopped because maybe they ran out of funding, but you don't know if they made everything up to code. So I would definitely get the township to look at those permits if there's any violations or code enforcement. And then I just want to tell you guys a quick example of why you want to check these easements and the rights of ways out. So in Delaware, there was a hotel built and they didn't check the state for the easements. So they just built the property, and in the end, they had to demolish it because there was an easement and it was 10 feet too close to Interstate 95. So you can see how a quick title check would be a lot less than having to demolish a whole hotel. Okay. So for this line, it's just the due diligence process. So we have two sections. One's the standard delivery that you'll get from a lot of companies, and the bottom is our delivery if you want to go for all the products, well, the title exam product, and if there's any other thing that you wanted to add on to it. So I'm going to go over the standard delivery with you. So the vendor side, say you get a title report from First American or another company, usually they provide you the title search with just a PDF, and you have to figure out what you're going to do with it. So they did the research, but now you have to interpret that research. So if you're doing it, you're going to have to go through the data, and then you have to verify that you did the property search was done completely and that everything is correct. So if it's not, you'll have to go back to the vendor. And then after you guys finally go through all the data, you can move on to your title exam part, which would just be double checking everything. So you're going to go through the liens, see which ones are priority. You're going to double check your mortgage position if you're buying that note, the assignment chain check, and the legal description. The legal description can be kind of lengthy as well, just because it's commercial property and usually a lot bigger. And any title issues, and then you have to come up with a title opinion, and in the end, you'll finally get your portfolio final underwriting. So on our end, we can do the search for you. So what that would start off with is you just giving us the data. We'll go through, we'll input the data. We can provide you with a dashboard. We can provide you with a raw data, which is a spreadsheet of each thing in the report. So if you need to map it somewhere, you have that. We go through and we make sure that the title report was completed on the correct property. We also have a quality control department who reviews your file and makes sure any of your unique requirements are met. So some of our clients, they require full copies of certain things, like if they want the full copies of mortgages, we'll make sure that that requirement is in the search so that if it's not, it's rejected, and you do not have to see any of the background stuff that's going on. We're just going to take care of most of it. And then if you get the title exam, that would include everything that I mentioned above. That would be us going page by page review, checking the legal descriptions on the vesting deed and the mortgage. We'll go give you the title opinion, which you will see on our dashboard. We have title grading for each asset. And then if you guys are interested, if you guys have API, we do have an API connection where the servers just talk to each other, so you can pull your data in from the API, and then we can send the title report back to you through the API. So if you guys are interested in that, you can contact us and email us. So that would be, at the bottom, that would be us doing the title report and the title exam, and then that would give you the final underwriting. So that would be, you just get the information on your side. Okay, so I'm going to go over examples. I was going to wait to the end to see if there's any questions, but if you guys have anything you want to go over before you forget or write down, just let me know, or I will move into.
All good so far.
All good? Okay.
All good so far. Yep.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go through a regular O&E report for commercial property with you. So if you have ordered from us before, this will look familiar to you. I'm just going to go through it really quick just so you guys can get the rundown of what people usually look for when they order title searches and do their due diligence. So up at the top is all the basic information. So it's going to be your name, your parcel, your address, and the county. So just all the basic information. The next section is the vesting information, and this is going to be the current deed. And so this is the vesting information. So as you can see, here's the current owner and all the date, the information, who they got it from. Moving from the deed section, because this is only a current owner, so there's only one deed provided, you will see the mortgage section. So here we'll go into the mortgage, the original amount, where it was recorded, what kind of mortgage it is, and who the lender is. If there was a trustee, if it was trustee C, the trustee would be right here. Under each mortgage that is on a report, will have any mortgage related documents. So any assignments of mortgages, UCCs, assignments of rents and leases, any foreclosure documents will be under the mortgage. And then after that, you'll get to your active judgments and liens section. So right here, there's only a few, but sometimes, especially with the commercial properties, you would see a good amount. Following the judgments and liens, you have the property tax status. And as you can see for this property, their only jurisdiction is the county. Sometimes, I believe it's New York and Texas, there's multiple, like 3 to 4 different jurisdictions that are getting taxed. So it's good to have, you need to make sure you have all of them. And then follows the property tax assessment. And then on this report, it looks like they put a comment in from the municipal search, and this was just they found a leak in underground storage tank. So when you do the municipal search, they'll provide you the information. Most of the time, it could be on the AllinOne Dashboard too. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to go into a little bit more detailed report. So this is it looks like a state statute search, so it's going to go back pretty far. So as you can see, here's the current owner. This is the current deed, and then it's going to do the deed chain back to whatever the state statute of that state is. Okay, and then here's the mortgage section. And this is the one with a lot of mortgage documents. So I'm going to go through and actually show you examples of some of the documents that you'll see. So as you can see, there's assignments of rents and leases on here. So what that does is it's given the lender the right, if the borrower defaults, that they get to collect their rents and leases, all that information, all that.
I love that. I absolutely love that in commercial real estate. It's something you don't always have in residential, and it's a beautiful thing because you can really take the it takes the gas or the wind out, I guess you say, the borrower sails if they're not robbing from Peter to pay Paul. That once you able to get this, it really makes a conversation of them looking to turn the asset over, or really kind of expedite the foreclosure, or the moving the asset along and then taking it back.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then I'm just going to show you there's assignments of mortgages. And here are some of the UCC filings and assignments. And as you can see, there's a continuation down here, which is what you definitely want to do. When you have that UCC, you have to make sure you keep that up to date. There's no judgments on here, but as you can see in the additional information, here's a whole bunch of extra documents. Most of these are regarding easements and property rights. And as you can see, it looks like there's a couple plats, because usually when things are sold off, they're going to get replatted. So these are things you want to look out for. I'm going to show you an assignment of rent to lease just so you can see it. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but it's good to look at. So right here is a document that's recorded at the county that's saying that the lender has the right to collect. And as you can see, it's going to name the borrower and the lender. And it has all the language that you'll need in order to take the money if they're not paying you. I'm going to show you one easement just because there are many. I can scroll through a few other ones, but this first one is for, I think it's for a sign. So this easement is on this property. So no matter what, the village can have that space on the property for that sign. So no matter what, you want to check for these easements, because if you don't want a sign on your property, it's right here. It says you're going to have to. So you definitely want to check all those easements out. So I'll scroll through a few because I think there's some after this, but you can see that the grantee will have things that they have to do, the grantor. You just have to read through them. And here's an example of one of the legal descriptions that if you do get that title exam, we will go through and read all that and do the legal matching. And then this is going to go through all the information. And here's a agreement talking about another thing that's going to be on the property. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to move on to that UCC sample. So as you can see, this is just a mortgage and assignment search for the borrower Tower Donuts. So what they were looking for is this UCC that was recorded in 2017. If we go down to that, we'll see that Tower Donuts is the debtor. And then if you look into the collateral, this is explaining everything that is in the collateral. And this goes through absolutely everything that's in that building, basically. So all the equipment, cooking equipment, it looks like televisions, fixtures, furniture, donut making equipment, that's all on here. And it does actually, I think, continue as well. Right down here. So the computers, any indoor, outdoor tables. So this is what your typical UCC will look like. Okay. And then before I get into the dashboard, do you guys have any questions? I think I see.
We've got a couple that popped up here. Let's see here. Todd asks, the Plyon sign is the big sign that you see when you enter a large shopping center. Okay. Everyone is usually on it. Every realtor would want to be on it. It's actually in every lease and carries a charge that is mandatory. Okay. Levi asks, what kind of warranty or protections do you provide if Pro Title misses a satisfaction of mortgage, encumbrance, or other enforceability issue that was in the county records?
All right, so we do hold O&E insurance up to, I believe it's $2 million. And then we also offer an umbrella insurance that you can get, and it actually is extended amount of time. And I don't think it's pricey, but we do have that O&E insurance. So if we are at fault for any issues, we have that there. We also have our vetted contractors that also, they go through the vetting, they have their O&E insurance as well. So everything is covered.
Cool. Then Marlene asked, is a report run on both entity name and principals names, incorporating judgments on principals?
So usually when the report is done, it will run anyone who's in the chain of title. I believe that, I don't think that, unless it's asked, they don't require to run the lender.
No, not the lender, the principal, like one of the entity's principals. Like there's two people on it. Is it running it for the, like if you and I were in an LLC, it's running on the LLC name, but is it also running on both people that are in the LLC? Yeah,
usually all the names are run.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Let's see. What are the questions you guys have for Suzanne? That's it for right now. Good.
Okay. So what I'm going to go over is the dashboard. Let me share that with you guys. So this is for residential and commercial. This is our all-in-one dashboard. So this will include the O&E report. So all the title information. This one includes the title exam section, if you order that, and code and demo, and a bankruptcy search. So I'm going to go through it. If you guys want to understand any more details, just let me know. Okay, so this is what we give to clients who order pools of assets. So on the left, you'll see the reviewed status. So it makes it easy, because sometimes you'll get a preliminary dashboard if your timeline is short and you want to get some of the due diligence done. So usually sometimes you can see pending here, but you always have the link to the report right over here in column B. So this information will be provided by the client. So we need that address, we need the name, and we need the mortgage information, so the original date and balance. So if you go over the colors, purple is going to be for doc prep and recording, so we're not going to go through that, but that is just everything's abstracted. So you can see that the mortgage date, the borrower name, the county, state, the number. So you can map this into your own system if you're doing document prep. Okay, and then all the green is the dashboard that we will go through. And then next is the title exam and the code and demo, and then bankruptcy. So I'm I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Hopefully you guys can still see. If you have an issue, just let me know. So each asset is its own row, and it goes through each of these checks. I'm going to go over the main checks with you, especially the ones that you'll want to check when you do due diligence on your own or if you go through us or whenever. But the first column is going to be just the overall issue check. So if there's a fail, there's going to be an issue somewhere over to the right. So the address, these two are the most important if you are doing the note buying, because you want to make sure that the borrower that you're expecting is on a deed. If the borrower is not on a deed, some type of transfer happened or something else that requires a little bit more research. So I'm just going to go to failed so that we can look at some of the issues that occur. So as you can see, we have a subordinate HOA foreclosure. This is just probably a name issue. Yeah, the last name is just different. And then as you can see, there's a prior mortgage lien foreclosure on here. So usually if the borrower is not on that present deed, you want to see what's going on. And then it looks like they're all passes on the borrower on mortgage, but usually we don't see too many fails on this one unless it's like a woman who was married or divorced or just a last name spelling difference. Like any non-material things usually happen on that one. So for the row T, delinquent or unpaid taxes, this one's really important. There's none on this, but if there were to fail, we do have a section over to the right that I'll show you that will go into all the judgments, issues, and liens. For that one, I actually see the question about the contract for deeds. Mm-hmm. Our clients, I have not seen any. I'm not sure if there's not any out there, but with our clients, I haven't seen any.
So here's the thing about contract for deeds. Contract for deeds, Bill, are going to be on assets of roughly $50,000 or less. You know, $75,000 less, where a bank's not going to do not going to finance a property. A traditional, a bank's going to finance an asset that's $100,000 or greater. I mean, the smallest commercial loan I've done in the past was $80,000. We originated that, but you don't have contract for deeds on the commercial side. You don't have that at all. It's strictly a residential side. Okay.
Okay, and then if we scroll over to the right a little bit more, we are going to see it's going to be broken down into any issue that can occur. So right here is a summary of any non-mortgage enforceable liens. And here's the federal tax lien. Of course, if you filter by the failed, you can see all the ones that are found for that. And I'm just going to skim through some of these. It's going to be demolition lien, if there's a tax foreclosure, all the important things that you really want to check out for. We have the state tax lien. We're going to make sure that your subject mortgage is found, because if you are buying that mortgage, you want to make sure that you can find that in the county records. So for the fail, the pass and the fail, if there is a fail, that means that there is that lien on the property. So I'll show you right now, but so for the state tax lien section, I'm going to filter by fail. So all these assets have a state tax lien on them. If I scroll over to our judgment section that has all the breakdowns of the amounts, I'm just going to show you really quick. I'll go over it again, but if you look here, here's the amount of the state tax liens. So if you see a fail, that means there is one present. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then this column will tell you what position your lien is. Usually when you are doing the due diligence, I know a lot of people are looking for their first lien, but sometimes it ends up that that lien is in second position.
That's correct. Does it show if there's any mechanics liens attached to the property too, Suzanne?
Yeah, if when we go to the section with the judgments and liens, I'll show you, but we do have a column for those ones as well. But I'll skim through these. Here's like informational ones. If there's a SBA mortgage, here's the tax liens, tax cert, tax mortgages. In Texas, they have tax mortgages, and we consider them superior to any other mortgage. So we're going to alert them here if we found them. This section is for real estate tax liens, which are also really important because taxes can foreclose. So definitely want to make sure that there's no real estate tax liens on your property. And then for this column, we're going to tell you if the subject mortgage foreclosed. If there was a fail, that means that there's an issue. I would look into the report. Usually if there is a fail, you could scroll over and there would be a description.
Ah, nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, and we're actually working on a new rollout title exam. So if you guys are interested in that, just let us know. We can put you onto our mailing list that gives you the updates of all the technology and things that we're making. I know Alex is really good at making new things for whatever clients ask for.
Yeah, he is.
He's really good at making sure that they have exactly what they need.
This is so awesome here because you don't have to go through pages and pages and pages with this. This saves a lot of time because you can identify the issues a lot faster and go and then you're seeing the issues pop up versus trying to say, well, what does this mean if you're not used to it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if you have those big pools, you are not going to want to be going through page by page.
Yeah, now Todd, this is not free if you've already bought a pool of commercial loans. This will be something you're buying on your due diligence on the front end side when you're ordering the reports, right, Suzanne?
Yeah, when you are ordering, if you're ordering a pool, we will, if it's over 20 assets, you automatically get this. You just can let us know, like, we want the dashboard with our delivery. But if you do not, we can generate one for you for, I'm not sure exactly what they do because we don't get it too much, but they will give it to you for just probably a little bit extra on top of the report costs. But yeah, this dashboard uses all the information in our system and uses all the algorithms and pulls everything together. So it has to be a pool that we completed. Okay, and moving on from the subject mortgage foreclosed, we have tax deed. So if there's a tax deed in your chain, it will have a fail. And that's when you're going to want to look. You want to see if it's redeemable or not, because tax deeds can wipe off your mortgage. This is for a major lender. I'm not sure for that question. This is just a random sample that we put together.
No, Todd, but I think you're everything is fine. This is for pools that are located with a major lender. No, if you're buying a portfolio from any lender out there, it doesn't have to be with a major lender. That's what she's trying to get at. That you're getting ready to bid on. It could be with, I mean, yeah, if you're buying from Bank of America, we doubt that, but it could be with your local bank.
Oh, yeah.
When you're pulling, you don't sell the pool you offer for those that are bidding. You don't sell the pool of loans. Todd, I don't get what you're asking, buddy. I think when you're going to bid on notes, okay, when you bid on notes, before you close, before you fund, you're going to pull due diligence. You're going to pull title. This is the report that if you're buying more than 20 notes, or you want this report, they get a little bit extra for you, but it's going to be part of your pre-funding due diligence, okay? All right, hopefully that answers the question.
Okay.
All right, let's see. We've got another question here. So Marlene asks, is this formally called dashboard with a kitchen sink to cover everything?
Yeah, that's an Alex term with the kitchen sink. He loves that.
I love that. That's good stuff.
Yeah. He's like, oh, they want the full kitchen sink. We're like, okay. So that when he says the kitchen sink, it's the Oni report, it's that title exam, it's the municipal search, and the bankruptcy search. And then this column is just going to tell you, I know in New Jersey, it's possible foreclosure for those certs of sales that you can see on those. They're liens for usually unpaid taxes or water and utilities. If this is a fail, you would definitely want to call to get that payoff amount. If you are one of our corporate clients, we do that for you automatically. So if you would just open up the report, we would tell you what the collector said. So this section right here is about the assignment breaks. The first column will tell you pass or fail. If there's a fail, that means that there's an issue. So if you look at these ones, it will give you a little bit of a description of what is failing. So for this one, we have the last assignee as countrywide, and then the next assignment that was recorded is MERS. So that is telling you that there is a break in the assignment chain. So you'll need to go ahead and fix that on the asset. So for the side letter, that would be more if, well, there's a lot of issues that you would write. If you're going up back to the seller for a discount, that's why you're doing the due diligence. You're going to, for these liens that you're going to have to pay off or give you an issue, you can request that discount from the seller. You just let them aware of it. You show them the title report if they want. Sometimes the sellers have their own way of going through that process. You just have to figure out what it was. Or what is the side notes is more for if you haven't finished a due diligence, or maybe you finished half and you want to reserve that right to come back later down in line. But yeah, we do have a lot of people that if you are going to ask for a discount, a lot of our clients who sell the pools, they're used to our dashboard. So our reports in a dashboard usually are a good enough proof for them. And then you can just go from there and see what else they would want, and we can help you out with that. All right, so the assignment break chain, we went over that. And then here's some informational columns, which would be the last deed, the current owner, the original lender of that mortgage, and then the last assignee, so who that mortgage is currently with. So as we move over, we're gonna just go through, as you can see, there's amounts here. This is gonna go through the judgments and lien amounts and some of the other issues. So here's any other senior or junior mortgages. If you wanna look at that, the information's right here. Of course, if you're expecting to buy a first lien, these two would be giving you an issue. And then here we have the state tax liens. Our liens are broken up for before and after the subject mortgage. And this will go from state tax lien, federal, the tax lien, that real estate tax lien, which are really important to look out for. And here's a little HOA section. We have if there was an HOA foreclosure, yes or no. If there's a yes, that means there is a judgment that was tagged as a HOA foreclosure, so you should take a look at that. So we have if an HOA lien is present. So if that is a fail, you should expect to see an amount in one of the HOA lien amount columns. And as you can see, they're right here. So moving on to some of the other liens. This one right here is this city, muni, and assessment lien. So for these ones, they're yeses and nos, and you would filter by yes if you would like to see if there is one. So we have one that's a water lien here, and not all the time do you have lien amounts for the liens that will show up on the reports, because sometimes it's a notice that's given to you, so there's not really an amount yet. But if you keep on staying delinquent, or say you're in violation and you don't go fix it, then you'll start seeing those amounts on the liens. And as that question from earlier, here's that mechanic lien. So right here, you would check to see if there's any Ys. There's not, but you would expect if there were any, you would have an amount right here. And here's the code enforcement section, and these are the ones that are recorded in the county level, because there could also be those code enforcement liens that are recorded at the township level. Sometimes they're recorded in both places, but sometimes they can be recorded in one and not the other. And as you can see, here are some, we have some yeses here. And what we do like to do for our pools, we like to alert you here in the issue detail as well, that, hey, like there's a code enforcement lien. We like to give the most, all the issues in one spot for you guys. So A lot of scrolling. I'm sorry about that.
No, but this report's awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
we keep on making changes to the dashboard and updating it. There's a lot of things that keep on happening. Let me double check to make sure that, because here we do have one, I forget what column it is, but there's a new law in New York and I think Washington that if you had a list pendants and you didn't discontinue it, you could be at risk to lose the mortgage. You could lose your right to collect on that. So we have a new column that gives you the dates of the date the list pendants was filed, so that you guys can take a look at that. And we do have new alerts for that as well. So we keep on just making the dashboard better and getting more specific and figuring out more issues that happen. And we do have clients from ones that buy like tens of thousands of loans to, you know, one or two. So we get really familiar with any issues that anybody can occur. And then just moving on to the end of the lien list. These are just totals for the most part. So total before and after the mortgage, we have a total amount surviving the foreclosure. So if you go to foreclose on a property, this is what's expected to survive it. Going over to the right a little bit more, we have if there was any delinquent tax amounts. We have the tax status right here for you. And then this purple section is just that document prep section, if that's what you need it and you had it mapped to your system. So this is just extra information from the report, like instrument numbers, book and page, parcels. So this is like easy for you to copy and paste into something if you have a system like that.
Yeah.
These are just the assignments. Okay, so over here is our title exam section. So if you are buying that product from that, this will be accurate. You will still receive this, but this is more in depth when we actually do that page by page. So in order to get accurate information, you have to order the title exam, because then we will check everything that needs to be checked. So for example, we have an issue here, and this is with the legal description not matching. So when you get a title exam, we're gonna alert you if there's a legal issue going on there. And then you can see that there's all other different columns as well. We have if there's a severe defect, pass or fail. We have if there's vesting issues that need to be looked at, data tape, if there's origination defects from the mortgage, assignment breaks. It's a little snapshot. And this is what I was going off of earlier. I was saying that we are working on this really nice, it's a title exam roll-up sheet that we're getting together. So what it is, it's kind of like a smaller version of the dashboard, but it has all the same information, but it gives it to you all at once. So it's, if you don't want to scroll through and filter and look at everything, we have that roll-up title exam coming. So if you are interested in that, you can send us an email and we'll let you know when it's ready. Over here, we do have issue and remedy recommendations. So as you can see, the legal under the subject mortgage doesn't match here. So we consider filing a claim against the title report or refiling. And then here's that code enforcement. So it's telling you that there may be costs to fix that issue that's going on. All right, and the score of the asset is just an overall score of all the issues that are going on. So we have an algorithm in our system that's looking at all these defects, and it's figuring out, you know, it knows which ones are going to be a costly or cannot be fixed. So if it cannot be fixed, it's going to give you a D. So let's look at this D. And so this one's subject to tax deed. So what you want to do is check if it's redeemable or not. But this one, most of the time, if there's a tax deed, the mortgage was lost. So, and then if you look at an A issue, as you can see, this is a non-material deed matters. This is the one where I think the last name was spelled differently. So it just gives you, it goes along with the risk as well. So an A is a very low risk asset. A D is very high. So it depends on what you're investing in, what type of assets you like buying, but we give the overall score. And we do have some clients that like to customize their asset grading, which we can do that too. So if you want something to fail for any type of issue, if you want to make say you find a mechanics lien and you really don't want to buy assets with those, you can tell us and we can make that automatically have a D asset. You just have to let us know and we can customize anything you want.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. This is a pretty common thing we see with larger pools, especially not only on the O&E stuff or the title like you do, but also on the collateral file. If somebody's reviewing a collateral file, you'll have it ranked A, B, C, or D. You know, A's good, things are clean. B's, there's some minor things. C's, you're starting to get some ugly. D definitely is the ugly of the asset. Now, you're not going to be able to use that scoring in your side letter, but you can use the things that have caused it to fail or caused it to get that lower rating. You know, it's like school. You know, you got some stuff, errors, put that in there. Hey, this is an issue. This is an issue. This is an issue. We need to get these things all fixed of some sort before we fund, or we're fading our bid, reducing our bid on the asset because of that reason. So hopefully that answers your question, Wayne. You asked what is this asset score? But most people don't know that because, I mean, they're used to pulling comps and seeing comps on an asset. It's a different ball game with commercial here. Marlene asked, are you looking for child support judgments against everybody, against all principals?
Yes, we do have. That's the same thing with our regular liens and judgment searches. We do have, I know we also have a section for right here if there's child support liens.
There you go.
And that will be.
You shall receive there, Marlene.
Yep.
Oh, this is good stuff.
It's very informational, this dashboard.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Wow. So this section right here is the municipal search. So anything in the orange is the code enforcement, that permit violation search. So right here, we'll give a pass and fail for the asset. And then if you scroll through, you can see what's going on there. We tell you the status. And if you look at this, it will tell you if there's a violation. This one, it looks like there is a code violation. So the fee is $62, but maybe, there might not be any higher ones on here. Well, this one is about 4,000. So I just want to check to see if it's coming up on the other side for the county search. So that's a code enforcement lien, and I'm not showing anything over here. So if you did not do that township search on this asset, you're already going to be out 4,000 because there is actually a lien on here.
And that's the thing; it's an extra cost to pull that, because it's not something that's necessarily recorded somewhere. You've got to go there to check directly, or the zoning, the municipal department, right?
Yep.
You know, sometimes people trying to cut corners think it's going to get everything. No, sometimes paying the extra cost to pull that ends up saving a lot of money in the long run. In this case, a few extra bucks, it would save you $4,600 that you're aware of, right? Or you weren't aware of.
Especially with those commercial assets, those ones, like the code enforcement liens for those ones can grow very large. And a lot of the code enforcement violations, a lot of them have the daily rates. So if you don't find that, you can have a daily rate. Like I've seen some just even on residentials for like $50 to $500 a day for each day they didn't fix it.
Yeah, I messed up one time and bought an asset that had $1 million lien on it from $500 a day municipal lien down in Pompano Beach, Florida. Now, I was able to get that reduced down to $2,000 because we came in and showed that we were fixing it up and doing some other things and we had to deal with the city. But yeah, that was that'll make you kind of tighten up a little bit on you there. $1 million lien? What?
Yeah.
Let's see here what somebody else says. Marlene says it also saves time delays. Yeah, and that's, the thing is, if you're buying here in bulk, you're gonna you're gonna need this stuff, and you'll see a lot. I've already. I'll give you an example. Like U.S. Bank, few banks will sell their commercial stuff in tranches. Like once a year, U.S. Bank will sell off. It's like going to a estate sale. Hey, in this lot, you've got this, this, and this, and you got to take it all. You can't cherry pick it. Or you've got, especially as you get bigger assets or bigger borrowers out there, they'll sometimes do a blanket loan. So you've got different assets in that same trade where it's all covered across collateralized. So this is why it's important to take a look at that as you're growing, you're expanding, and really setting your horizons on something bigger.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, keep going.
Okay. All right, so this still continues with our code and demo section. So we do a tax sale check. So we'll check to see if a third party bought the taxes, or if a tax sale is coming up, or if there was a tax sale. We also go through the permit violations. So we'll check those, see if there's anything. And then we'll also check water and sewer if you purchased that. And then we're going to move on to the last section of the dashboard, which is the bankruptcy search. And this is something new that we offered, not, I would say recently, but on this column, it will give you the overall pass or fail for the bankruptcy. We have an attorney who does this, and they'll get all the information, all the accurate information. So we went through and we worked with the attorney to figure out what somebody who is doing due diligence would need to know, what can help them out, and what will help them to see like if the asset is not worth buying. So we came up with this, and as you can see, if you read into them, you could see if there's any issues. If there's a fail, that means you should really check it out. For example, right here, the deadline to file the proof of claim. So if someone's gone for bankruptcy and you missed that deadline to file, you lost your mortgage basically. So right here, that asset would be, I would say, very severe issue. And then if you scroll through, you'll just look at it, and there's just a lot more informational things that are going on with the bankruptcy. And you want to make sure that the monthly payments match, and then that the payments that are on the title report matches whatever else is recorded. And then it will tell you what chapter, the bankruptcy plan, when it starts. And then if you scroll over, this is a lot of information, and this is done, I believe it's $18 plus the pacer cost, and you get all that information about the bankruptcy. So if you have an asset that's alerted and you need a bankruptcy search, we can get you all this information that you need. And it will tell you if other liens were stripped, if your lien is secured, how much is remaining. And then I think at the end it gives you, the likelihood of success. So this is done by the attorney, so they'll let you know if it's a low or high likelihood of success. And then that completes the all-in-one, the kitchen sink dashboard.
Would you be able to send a copy of this over so people can take a look at it a little bit more in depth and play around with it?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll put that as a link for those that are paid, and as part of everything like that for you. So that's an extra. That's a really cool bonus to look at. I mean, just it's not, you're looking at stuff and seeing what's all involved, because it's, I mean, going through it in an hour is one thing, but when you got a little bit more time to dive into it and see what everything makes sense, it adds a lot of value to that there for you. Awesome. What other questions do you guys have for Miss Suzanne out there? What are some of the biggest mistakes that you're seeing people do? They're just not understanding everything that they should be ordering, or maybe they're not ordering enough, or what? What are you seeing, Suzanne?
We do get that a lot. A lot of people just order anything, and they just think that it's going to cover exactly what they want. They don't really know what they're buying. They're not really sure what they're looking at with the report. But we do recommend like the muni searches to some of the clients, and some don't take it, and then some do. But we did see some of our clients come back, and they didn't get the township search, but there was a unreported muni lien, so that caused them an issue.
Right. Yes, you could do this for a small pool of 5 to 10 notes, Wayne. You're just going to pay an extra fee for them to put this into a spreadsheet for you, right, Suzanne?
Yeah, it would just be, I think it's a little bit extra on top of the cost of the loan. I'm sure once you, if you mention to the placer, if you're placing any orders with us, just mention you're a note student and they will give you a discount.
There you go. Question what RPL stands for. That stands for Reperforming Loan, correct, Suzanne?
Yep. And then the NPL is the non-performing loans. So those are the ones that you're going to be expecting to end up foreclosing on. The reperforming is the ones that like maybe a modification agreement just was executed. The lender and the borrower are actually making progress on an agreement.
Yeah, exactly. How much, Marlene, ideally, how much time do you need to do all these? You know, what's kind of, you know, we're not talking, it's not usually a 48 business hour turnaround time, it's a little bit longer, correct?
So yeah, if it's a big pool, it just depends. If it's 1 or 2 reports here and there, we give the 24 to 48 business hours. For larger pools, I would say usually like a week, because we have pools from, I would say hundreds, we would do like a week, hundreds to like maybe 1,000, a week or 2. If it's like 10,000, we would at least give us a month to do
Yeah,
those.
because you guys have been responsible for some of the big Fannie Mae due diligence stuff on this stuff for some of those larger trades.
Yeah, we had a large trade that was interesting, and seeing all the different issues that came across with those.
Got a question. How long do they insure for anything missed? Limited time or indefinitely?
I would have to see if it's written anywhere in our E&O, but I know if you get the umbrella insurance, it is usually a good extended amount of time. I think that one might be about like $20 on top of the asset.
Yeah.
But that's, I think I want to say like at least a few years for that one.
Yeah, that'd be something to reach out to Marlene and ask when you have something that you're dealing with. All right. Cool. Good stuff there. All right. What other questions you guys have? We just got a couple more minutes with her, with Suzanne, before she's got to get back to the slave driving Alex there to get back to work on a Friday afternoon, right?
Yeah, he's actually out of the office right now, so.
Oh, where is he at today now? Where is he at today?
He went to Canada.
He went to Canada.
Yep.
Our friendly Canadian Russian, huh?
Yep.
Russian Canadian. That's awesome there. What are the questions, guys? Come on, everybody. You got a couple more minutes. Can you shoot me? Can you email me a link to the slides and then a link to this, and I'll make sure and get it out for everybody so you can look at it and go from there. But Suzanne, thank you so much for taking time to be a part here. I know that a lot of people really enjoyed this. Questions, comments. How does this show? Question: how does this show if there are multiple principals?
It would just be on the report. It would not show on the dashboard, I don't believe. Just if it was named on the mortgage in that way.
Right.
So as you can see, these are just the mortgage names, and it doesn't have everything listed. It's just what's listed on the mortgage document itself.
Yeah, exactly. So good stuff. All right, Suzanne. Well, hey, thank you for being a very valuable contributor to Note Camp Commercial. It's been a pleasure, and so excited. Shared a lot of great stuff. I learned some great stuff on there as well, too. I think a lot of other people did it. But this is the things that you get at, guys, when you start doing bigger things. Things actually get a little bit easier because you're getting great reports like this because it makes it easier all the way across the board for you to read and go through there. Let's see here. Is the contact info available for the preferred vendors on the corp overview to the specific departments?
For what is it? Is the contact available for the preferred vendors? For us, we are the preferred vendor of those companies that I did show you.
Yeah.
But we don't have necessarily the contact information to give out, especially for the top sellers.
You're still going to have to reach out on your own, Todd. Yeah, exactly right. They're not, you're still going to have to do a little bit of work on yourself, bud. Good stuff there. Yeah, Jack Dewey's agree. I agree. Great stuff as well there. Well, hey, Suzanne, thank you so much. We'll let you get back to your Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day, your weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye. All right. Good stuff there. All right, everybody. That's going to wrap it up for this session of Note Campus. Suzanne, we're going to have a couple more sessions. We're basically just about the halfway part. What's going on my sign behind me? But the halfway part, basically, that was gold. Exactly right, Sabrina. Great stuff. Yeah, exactly. You don't get what you don't ask for. Exactly. Anyway, let's take a quick 15-minute break. Come back at 2:00, and I believe we've got our tax planning opportunities for commercial debt investors with Thomas Castelli, CPA, coming back at straight up at 2:00 Central Standard Time. So take 15-minute breaks, restroom, drink, grab a bite to eat, and we'll be right back.